Okay, so this is going to sort of serve as our first theory video lesson. How we're going to picture music for right now is without sharps or flats. So we're only going to be using the letters A through G. So we have A, oops, let me see if I can get this. A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and then we and then we repeat. We're back to A, B, C, and go back to D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So because the octave repeats over and over, the octave meaning when we come back to the same letter. So if I start A and I come back to A, I'm at the octave. I can have an octave lower, I can have an octave higher. But the way that we are going to think of this is in terms of half steps and whole steps. Now on a piano keyboard, all the white keys are not sharp or flat, and all the black keys are sharps and flats. And notice that they're in either groupings of 3 or groupings of 2. So a half step would be a white key to a white key, B to C, E to F, also represented here. Or a whole step would be from, say, C to D, D to E, F to G, G to A, or A to B. So there's a space between every single letter except for B and C and E and F. And that space is another note still, but for the moment, we're not going to worry about those notes. It's important that you conceptualize music as 12 equal marked portions. So I've labeled each of the portions. We have A as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, back to A. So between two A's, there's a total of 12 notes, including the first A. Now, what we end up coming out to, as it were, is that we can reorder into a major scale, which would be symbolized by whole steps and half steps. So C to D is a whole step, D to E is a whole step, E to F is a half step, F to G is a whole step, G to A is a whole step, A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step. And this ends up creating the C major scale. Whole, whole, half, whole, 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 half. So we are moving essentially 7 times, and we play our starting note to the last note. We're playing 8 notes total. So that brings how to play the C major scale, which you don't really have to memorize for this lesson. We'll have a lesson in terms of how to play the major scale as we move forward. But as you can see, each fret is a half step. So if we start on C, we move 2 frets up we're to D, a whole step. If we move from D 2 frets up to E, we have gone another whole step. If we move from E to F, we have moved a half step. From F 2 frets over to G, we have moved a whole step. From G 2 frets over to A, we have moved yet again by a whole step. And from B to C, we again have a half step. I meant to write, hold on. Okay, so naturally, if B to C is a half step and we have a whole step between A and B, we move 2 frets down and we're at A. So A to B is a whole step, B to C is a half step. So how this sounds is very important, and I'll show you now. So playing the C major scale sounds like this: C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And that's the typical do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And in playing this, it is the same as playing the white keys on a piano. If we take the piano and we start on C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. And just like I illustrated between C and D, there's a note. Between D and E, there's a note. Between E and F, there's no note. Between F and G, there's a note. G and A, there's a note. A and B, there's a note. B to C, there is no note. For the time being, this is going to be our musical alphabet. And right now, I'm going to pause the video and I'm going to highlight the minor pentatonic scale on this little continuum here. And then you can sort of see how it looks in a visual representation. So I'm not certain why, but I picture the minor pentatonic scale, especially in A, as red. So that's the color we used. And you'll note that the scale that we're using skips over quite a few white notes. And so we can build off of this scale and fill in those white notes when we're playing to build an A minor scale. And that is something we will also be doing in the near future. But I think it's interesting for you to picture and see the distance of the minor pentatonic scale as represented on a sort of linear continuum, as it were. In seeing this, you should be able to sort of picture the general shape of it. You see, from A to C is like moving from 5th fret to the 8th fret. From D to E is from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. From G to A is from the 5th fret to the 7th fret. And so there's sort of a parallel there. you're moving the different strings doing that. But as you can see, the minor pentatonic scale is outlined right in this box here. And that's a portion of it. Anyways, hopefully you can absorb a good chunk of this. What you don't absorb, of course, we'll continue to go over in lessons.